the world-famous Bayanihan dancers of the Philippines. Famed for their amazing repertoire of colorful dances derived from both foreign and native traditions. On this journey, my challenge is to join the Bayanihan troupe and learn the spectacular Jota dance, a Filipino version of the Spanish Jota.
I don't know how I'm supposed to get it because I'm so far from getting it.
During my training, I'll check out some of the mystery and charm of the Philippines to see how the Jota dance became what it is today. Then, I have to perform in front of an audience of dignitaries, including the mayor of Manila, a former Bayanihan dancer himself. What have I got myself into?
It's happening again, that sinking feeling. Here we go.
It's a thriller in Manila on Sink or Swim. Sink or Swim!
Here I am in the Philippines to learn the La Jota dance. But before I do that, I have to meet my guide, who's also going to double as my dance partner because it's a sort of a he-she type of dance.
Hey Jamie, kamusta?
Kumusta? You must be
I'm Clara.
Clara.
Hello,
nice to meet you.
you.
Kumusta? ¿Cómo estás?
Yeah, that's yeah, like
Spanish, right?
Yeah, it comes from the Spanish "cómo
Okay.
So.
Clara Balaguer is a local celebrity, my local host, and my Jota dance partner. Since the Jota dance is a new experience for the both of us, we're facing the same challenge, so this show is a sort of 2-for-1 deal. Double the risk, double the fun.
This is Grego, my horse. Grego means macho.
Grego,
Yeah,
macho.
it means macho in Tagalog. So if somebody tells you that, that means you the man. Oops.
Clara and Grego take me through the busy Manila streets to meet a special dance troupe who are experts at the La Jota. I think I could learn some pretty cool moves just trying to cross the road here. First up, we're gonna see just how much trouble we've landed in with our Jota challenge. The Bayanihan dance troupe will have a chance to size us up and see what they've let themselves in for. The prestigious Bayanihan Folk Dance Company was formed in 1957 and caused great excitement with their first European tour, and even more when they appeared on the Ed Sullivan Show in the United States in 1958.
Whoa. This is a place where we're going to learn the dance with the Bayanihan, the national dance troupe. So let's go inside. I'm really excited about this.
They perform a dazzling array of dances, both indigenous and mixed, to audiences throughout the Philippines and overseas. These are some of the masters of Philippine dance, and ready or not, we have to go on stage with them in just 7 days. Lito will be one of my teachers. He seems to think we should be able to learn the dance in time for the show. I've heard that one before.
What we can do is we have the Bayanihan dancers with us, and then we can perhaps do the very basic of the Jota first, and then we'll see what else we can do for you. As long as the focus and the concentration is there, it's chicken feed.
I think we're gonna be the chicken feed.
Yeah.
We discover there's an additional skill to master for our performance. We have to play these bamboo castanets during our dance. Filipino castanets are made of bamboo, adapted long ago from the Spanish equivalent, just like the Jota itself. They're tough to use because they're held loose in the hand. What's more, during the dance, they are held upside down, making it even more difficult.
So how long does this dance last for?
This dance, 4 minutes.
About 4 minutes?
About 4 minutes.
Longest 4 minutes in our life?
Most embarrassing, that's for sure.
Most embarrassing 4 minutes? No. We're gonna get it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Time to watch the whole dance for the first time so we can see what we're in for. The moves look complicated, but they're very graceful. Okay, so precision, grace, balance, and timing. That's all I need.
I can't do this.
The Jota dance is a mixture of traditional Spanish steps and native Filipino moves. There are several variations, rich hybrids of the Spanish Jota, adapted over 4 centuries to become a distinctive national dance. Just like its forerunner in Spain, in its early days it was very much a dance for the aristocracy, something that was slow to change. Clara and I are captivated, but as I try to imitate them, I suddenly discover that the simple-looking moves take a lot of skill to execute. Nikki makes it look so easy, but already I know I've got my work cut out for me.
Fantastic.
So,
Oh
what are
man.
your reactions?
There's a lot of steps. There's a heck of a lot of steps.
Yep. 4 minutes of dancing.
Yeah, there's a lot of twirling this way, twirling that way, moving this way, moving that way, and then the ladies come in, and then all the while doing the tak-ta-da-da-tak-tak-tak-tak-ta-da. It's hard. It looks really difficult.
Clara says she has an idea which might help boost my courage for our big performance, but doesn't explain exactly what she has planned. Filipinos are often called the minstrels of Asia, and it's easy to see why. It seems like everyone here can sing and dance, and in this famous Manila restaurant, everyone can. The security guards, the waiters, and even the cooks. If you dine at singing cooks and waiters, you better be able to sing, because there's a high chance you'll be called up on stage to perform, as I discovered. It was a chance for Clara to test my courage in front of an audience. I'm not quite sure what she made of it, and really didn't think it was my strong point, but I look forward to my real challenge, learning the Jota. It's our second training session with the Bayanihan dancers, and time to really start concentrating. Nikki begins putting me through my paces.
That's it. That's the beginning.
Okay, I got it. Now you will.
Okay,
The same thing.
once more from the top. So we start kneeling.
Already, Clara seems to be well on her way to mastering her part, whereas things aren't looking good for me at all. Right now, I can't see how I could be ready in just 5 days' time.
Aye, it's complex. You know, it's not just stomping here and there. There's actually the count to how many stomps, right?
And then
Yeah. Oops. This is not working for me. I can't do that.
yes, you can.
Well, what is it? So,
The band seem to have given up on me, and this is just the beginning. Nikki keeps showing me how graceful and effortless the dance should look.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
this is just the intro too. We do the intro solo. Me and Clara. It is a very macho dance, yeah. The whole thing, like. It's like. I have this great feeling of macho power when I hold these, and some of the poses that you do, you know, it's like turning around, it's like, oh, so you think you can fight me there, yeah?
You'll be wearing a tuxedo with this dance.
Oh yeah? A tuxedo. Wow. I'm already sweating in a t-shirt. Can you imagine a tuxedo? With the barong.
It's a tuxedo.
Ah, the barong is I think the barong is the Filipino
national
costume. Beautiful. I think they have the same sort of shirt in Cuba too, right? I'm talking to the Chilean, talking to the Chilean sound man. What does he know? What does he know, huh? Mamacita! Come on, Clara. Clara, now your turn.
I haven't learned that part yet, man. You do your thing, I'll do mine.
Is it taboo to watch the girls practicing? No? Oh. I'll watch some more.
But I need to start making serious progress to see how Clara and I will dance together.
What do I have to do after this?
Left foot front.
Oops!
Turn right.
Oh, I was right.
Ah.
And. Continue.
I think I'm supposed to be here, huh?
Clara and I tried to dance the introduction together for the first time. Clara does wonderfully, but I have a long way to go.
Repeat Feet correct. And
3.
And then,
Lito perseveres, and bit by bit our moves start to fall into place.
Oh, oops.
and
I know there must be other sides to Filipino culture. I need a break to let the training sink in and to see what else Filipinos do to let their hair down. And guess what? It involves singing and dancing. It's not traditional, but it's a lot of fun. Clara and I take time out to see a basketball game. It's the #1 sport in the Philippines and one of the more popular imports from the US. They haven't just adopted the game, they've adopted the whole experience of pro basketball. From the uniforms, the mascots, to the sexy cheerleaders at halftime, and the media hype surrounding the most popular team. Basketball is played with the same flair and panache as anywhere, and it seems that these guys can do anything if they like it. But apparently, the Mexican wave hasn't caught on yet. But there's an older American icon which has had a bigger impact on daily life in Philippine cities. These brightly painted vehicles, sometimes called folk art on wheels, have a history nearly as colorful as the dance I'm learning, and I decide to see more of the famous jeepney. Today, I'm in the famous Sarao Jeepney factory, something of a jeepney museum too, it seems.
After World War II, the Americans left hundreds and hundreds of these jeeps laying around, these army jeeps. So people started to get creative with them. They added a bit more caballo power under the hood, or on top of the hood, more like it, and stretched it out to give more seating space, thus turning it into a taxi. Now the next stage, look at this. They stretched it all the way out, making it sort of like a Jeep bus. And of course we have added mirror power, seeing power.
The jeepney became the recognizable mainstay of public transport throughout the nation, and since the great thing about jeepneys is the way they're customized, why not customize one of our own? Who knows? It might be a good omen if we use this to ride to our performance.
Can't believe it, man. I get to paint my own jeepney, and Nardo de la Cruz, you are going to help me. Now, what do you think? You think we can put the logo right here? Yeah. You can handle that? It's not too hard? Fantastic.
Okay, that settles it. I'm definitely riding to our final performance in this jeepney.
Thank you, Nardo. Maraming salamat. Thank you. Have a look at this. Check that out. La Jota. That's the dance I'm going to be doing. That's why I'm here. On Sink or Swim, the show. And this is the episode, Trila in Manila. Okay, let's go. Come on, boss. Oh! Where's the driver?
We need a different form of transportation to get us to our next destination, the beautiful island of Cebu. It begins my journey to trace the routes of the Jota. But since the pressure is on, we use every chance we have to start practicing our moves. It's a little worrying that Clara seems to be picking this up faster than I am.
See, I never know which way to go.
And when we arrive, guess what? More musicians. There's a relic in Cebu of the first European to set foot in the Philippines, and it's here that the history of our Jota dance really begins. This cross is said to contain remnants of the original cross planted on a beach in Cebu in the year 1521 by the Portuguese explorer Ferdinand Magellan.
Says he planted it, huh? Cross planted by Ferdinand Magellan. Well, if we look at the picture up there, it looks like he had some local fellas plant it for him while he sat back and, watched.
Magellan explored the Far East on behalf of King Felipe II of Spain, named the Philippines after him, and claimed it as a Spanish colony. Pretty good deal if you're the King of Spain. But one chief named Lapu-Lapu wasn't impressed with the cross or with Magellan's colonial ambitions. Chief Lapu-Lapu led an uprising in which Magellan met his fate, forcing the Spanish to retreat to their ships. That first battle with an occupying power established the Philippines' first national hero. Today, hundreds have gathered to commemorate this event.
Excuse me, I have some Spanish blood to spill. Come on! Long live Lapu-Lapu!
A local dance troupe performs a reenactment to give us a more colorful idea of the scene that might have unfolded as the adventurous Magellan came to an unpleasant end. Lapu-Lapu's warriors fought ferociously and routed the Spanish. Poor Magellan, he sailed around the world, eating mouse stew and sawdust, only to meet his fate here in the mud. This was to be the first battle in a 4-century-long struggle for Filipino independence.
Got Magellan's sword! And until this day, he's still hailed as a hero of Filipino independence.
Although the islanders repelled Magellan, they were irresistibly attracted to an instrument popular with the Spaniards and took it to heart. The people of Lapu-Lapu City are famous throughout the Philippines for their guitars, and the guitar is one of the main instruments that accompanies the jota. The secrets of the craft were learned from the Spanish and passed down from father to son all these generations. The Alegre family makes guitars the traditional way, by hand. And take it from me, they produce quality. They also make Hawaiian ukuleles.
Aloha! Such a happy sound, yeah, the ukulele. You feel happy when you hear it.
And they make the Filipino mandolin played by Bayanihan.
This is a Philippine mandolin. It's got 14 strings. It's our top-of-the-line mandolin.
But mainly they make an amazing variety of guitars here, starting with standard size, to training size for junior, to souvenir size for tourists, all the way down to the ever-popular keychain size. Oh, and there's one I forgot. After Lapu-Lapu kicked the Spanish out of Cebu, it wasn't until 50 years later that the Spanish returned to the neighboring island of Bohol. So that's the next stop in our search for the roots of the jota dance, 2 hours away by high-speed ferry with a flat roof and an opportunity too good to refuse.
If we can dance it here on a moving boat, we can dance it anywhere, right?
2 important hours of practice that we desperately need. Clara and I are starting to gel as a team, and I think we've got some of the moves. But the ocean has moves of its own, and they get the better of me. 500 years ago, the Spanish built churches here in Bohol that have been the center of the lives of the islanders ever since. Although it's not the only religion here, Christianity is so influential that the fleet of distinctive tricycle taxis are required by law to have a Christian slogan or Bible quotation painted on the back.
Bohol has some of the oldest churches in the Philippines. This one was built around the 16th century and it's made entirely of coral because that's like the only building material they really had here. And interesting to note over there, that's the road to nowhere. That's this highway that they started building, and halfway through building the highway, after pouring so much money into it, they found a church right in front of the highway, so they just decided to give up building. But it's a crossroad that symbolizes a lot about my country. It's like you have the past and you have the present, and they're at an impasse and it's getting in the way of the future. But, you know, the people are a really special breed of people because they're survivors, and they're not just survivors, but they're happy survivors. They find the joy in everything, and there's always love to give to everybody else. Anyway, let's go inside. The church has a special treasure that I'd like to show you.
The Lobok Children's Choir is the living legacy of this ancient Spanish church. Judges at international festivals have said the singing of these children of fishermen rivals that of the Vienna Boys Choir. It's the end of a long day, but I use the opportunity to brush up on some of my moves before we continue. It was on the island of Bohol where the fate of the Filipino people first became intertwined with the Spanish. 50 years after Magellan's tragic adventure in Cebu, a Spanish conquistador named De Legazpi decided to make peace with the Bohol Islanders rather than fight them.
In 1565, Miguel Lopez de Legazpi and Raja Sikatuna forged a blood compact between their two peoples to unite them in the Philippines.
It's your turn, senor.
They shed their blood in a cup mixed with tuba, the native coconut wine, and they drank from it to seal their friendship. Now, this is the beginning of the marriage of the Filipino and Spanish cultures in this country. This is a symbol of what we do also in the dance that we're learning. It's basically just, the mixture of those two cultures.
And so the relationship between the Philippines and Spain was formalized. To feel more at home in the Philippines, the Spanish aristocracy brought their national dances with them, the jota being the most popular, and De Legazpi provided the means for these dances to spread. De Legazpi moved north and founded the capital Manila. In the old Spanish quarter of the city is a magnificent church where you can still find the old conquistador today. This is San Agustin Church, built in 1606. Its monastery is now a museum housing priceless religious artifacts. It also houses the tomb of Miguel Lopez de Legazpi, a reminder of perhaps the greatest turning point in Filipino history, and how the dance we are learning was established half a world away from its origins. The firepower of the conquistadors and the fire and brimstone preaching of Spanish priests quickly took hold throughout the islands. Despite Lapu-Lapu defeating Magellan, the islands became a stronghold of Catholicism, and today the Filipino people remain 80% Christian. Other Spanish traditions were adopted and merged with native ones to create a distinct Filipino culture. It was out of this unique mix that the jota dance emerged, a flamboyant cross between Spanish and native dances, and the focus of our impending challenge. It's getting close to the big day, and we start training with the entire troupe.
I think they're having focus now, and I think they're pressured to really learn everything. They only have very few days to go till performance.
My next training session is at Bayanihan's home studio and has me even more apprehensive.
I'm way behind Clara. Clara's got it.
To polish our performance, they bring in the big guns. Our new trainer takes charge. We're getting tuition from one of the masters of La Jota, Bong Jose, dance director and choreographer for Bayanihan.
So from here we go. Point, stop, point,
Your head is
stop,
dropping.
stop, stop.
That's it.
I don't know how I'm supposed to get it because I'm so far from getting it.
When you turn, don't drop your body. Like, good.
Left foot behind. Left foot behind. Okay, good.
3, 4.
Thank heavens for the maestro's teaching. I feel like I might even have a chance now.
Okay, once more.
Okay.
Once more.
3, 4. Stop. 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 Oops. So what do you think? We've got one more practice after this, right?
I think we're just tired. I think we know.
I think
what doing.
we're very close to getting it. I feel almost there, you know.
It's time to leave Manila in search of truly native Filipino dance. We're off to the remote Banawe highlands, where some of the Philippines' ancient traditions still survive. We're looking for the Ifugao tribe, who live in a remarkable setting that has become a World Heritage Site. But to get there, we have a 10-hour drive ahead of us and use some of the time to work on our castanet technique. Our dance technique seems to be coming together, but we need to get the whole performance worked out within 2 days.
Not this side. Oh, jeez. Oh, man.
We're traveling into the Cordillera Mountains, so named by the Spanish explorers because they resembled a knotted rope. The last leg of our journey requires four-wheel drive. The road gives us an amazing view of the mountains, but it's narrow and notoriously dangerous. We are keen to meet the Ifugao, whose spirituality and pagan beliefs are expressed through ritual dance. It's easy to see why these remote mountain villages have managed to hang on to their old traditions for so long. Local residents seem to take the hazards in their stride, but I still feel a sense of relief when the road comes to an end. Until I learn, we still have a 2-hour hike ahead of us to reach the Ifugao.
Hey, Clara,
Yes.
how do you say beautiful in Tagalog?
Maganda.
Wow. Maganda. Isn't it gorgeous?
Finally, we get our first glimpse of the spectacular rice terraces of Batad, built up by the Bontoc and Ifugao people. This is the oldest and most elaborate agricultural system in the world. I can see why some people call them the stairway to heaven.
See over here, these are the Batad rice terraces. Now these are, some people say it's the eighth wonder of the world because they were made 2,000 years ago and they're still in use.
A few dedicated custodians of Ifugao culture remain in this mountain habitat, living in the same pyramid-shaped houses as their ancestors. Ifugao means coming from the earth and symbolizes their close relationship with the land. Their way of life existed long before the Spanish or other foreigners ever saw this remarkable terrain.
Hey, Oliver, could you tell us what these stones here are?
These stones on the ground is the court place of our elders before. This is the court wherein they are going to settle land disputes. The chieftain will decide on what punishment he will execute to the guilty.
What's in the small hut?
The small hut are the couples.
The chief.
The chieftain and his wife.
The mummified remains.
couple.
Yeah.
Yes. This is the picture of the man.
When Oliver said we were going to meet his mummy, that wasn't quite what we expected. We met another resident, Noah, who took us out of the rain to show us a few more Ifugao artifacts.
This is a gong?
Yes.
And, oh my god, this is a human jawbone.
Yes.
Wow. Did you know whose jaw it was?
The Bontoc peoples, Banawi and Bontoc, they have tried
They have a warfare.
war.
Other artifacts show the influence of Chinese culture.
This one is
Looks
the
very Chinese.
But in all their encounters, the Ifugao retain the essence of their traditions.
This is Chinese, but this
Ratan.
rattan is a Ifugao.
Ifugao.
Like that's the thing about Filipino culture. It's not just Spanish influence. You know, we have Chinese, we have indigenous influence. So you know, we really do have our own identity.
It's hard to believe these villagers were once feared headhunters, although I can't help wondering if a few Spanish intruders learned the hard way. The Spanish came to these mountains in search of gold, but the ethnic groups in the Cordilleras put up the fiercest resistance of all Filipinos. It took until the mid-1800s before the Spanish were able to establish a mission here. As a result of their defiance, the Ifugao managed to retain a distinct cultural tradition. This is one of the few opportunities to see how indigenous Filipino dance existed in its purest form. Most of them imitate various elements from the natural world, especially birds and animals, with the accompaniment of the gong and simple percussion instruments made from wood and bamboo. Scholars are afraid that when the older generation passes on, many of these traditions will go with them, so efforts are being made to preserve these unique performing arts, and local schools are including Ifugao teachings in their curriculum. We rush back to Manila to train because it's only 48 hours to showtime. This time, we're meeting Bayanihan in a special place in the hearts of Filipinos.
This is Fort Santiago, one of the oldest fortifications in Manila. This is where the Spanish used to stand outside, guard the walls in full armor and in tropical heat.
Full armor with those big metal breastplates and everything.
Yep.
And like chainmail underwear.
I guess, man. I don't know. I've never been a Spanish knight, so I wouldn't know.
Fort Santiago was built to defend the Spanish community of Manila. We're training today in the ruins of the barracks of the last Spanish soldiers to defend their presence here.
Oops. I feel like Jiminy the Cricket.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
1, 2, 3, 4. Only 4 counts.
I did 5, and it's only 3? Oh, it's 4. Turn around. Oh,
That's
4.
4 counts. You did 5.
Oh, I'll try again, eh? Standing here, go like this. Huh, whoops, huh?
The second part, we come in. We come in like that.
This side?
Yeah. We come in.
1, 2,
Okay, I'll try again. So, from here, come up like this,
3, 4, 5, 6.
scoop down,
Like that. Yeah.
perm.
We come in.
1, 2, 3,
Oh,
4, 5,
here.
Oh yeah, we're half facing the audience, right?
Okay. Then you, oh, this one slides. Turn around.
and 2.
This is the one we just did now. The one like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Back to my again.
1, 2, 3.
That's it.
Yeah.
Can we do that again,
One
right?
more.
And stop.
Okay.
And then the ending.
Turn to the right. You turn to the right.
Okay.
Stop. Turn and it goes. Yeah, that's it.
Take 5, take 5.
Take 5.
Then the Bayanihan dancers show us exactly how it should be done. I just wish they didn't make it look so easy. Today, Fort Santiago also stands as a memorial to the victims of World War II and another Philippine national hero, Jose Rizal, who was imprisoned here before being executed. It was Rizal's writing that inspired the spirit of rebellion against the Spanish. In 1898, the Spanish-American War came to a strange end. The Spaniards sold the islands to the Americans, who in turn decided the Filipinos weren't ready for independence. The Spanish may have been evicted, but their influence on Filipino dance was well established. The American presence had a strong influence in the early 20th century, especially on dance. Vaudeville, the forerunner of the variety show, became very popular and changed the shape of Philippine culture, and the jota moved from the dance floors of Spanish aristocracy to the stage. Out of the ashes of the Second World War rose independence. In 1946, the people swore in a Filipino president, and Filipinos became masters of their own destiny. And of those military jeeps the Americans left behind. Clara always wanted to drive a jeepney, and we finally have a chance to take our Sink or Swim logo for a spin through the streets of Manila.
I'm getting a little nervous about the dance. You got it down?
I don't know. I haven't practiced my costume of it. I don't know about the whole tail thing. I haven't even, like, I've seen it, but I don't know what it's like to dance in it. And it's really tight, and I swim around in my shoes a lot.
But I bet these two chaps didn't know what was in store when they hitched a ride. It feels like a special jeepney to us, but to these guys, it's just a ride across town, and it sure helps to ease the tension.
It's free too.
It's
It's on Discovery. Come in. We got some passengers.
Welcome aboard!
Clara's dream to drive a jeepney becomes more of a reality than she expects.
Kumusta ka, pare? Ayos ka. Mabuti.
We lose our passengers and pull up outside the venue of our performance, a grand colonial Spanish house. It's appropriately close to San Agustin Church, and our old friend de Legazpi will probably be turning in his tomb when he sees what we do with the jota. We're about to perform one of the Philippines' most treasured dances before a VIP audience, and I get off to a rather inauspicious start.
Ooh, watch it.
What did you hit? All right.
I'm impressed, Clara.
I can
It's
drive.
showtime. Wish me luck.
We're meant to perform in the romantic courtyard of the Casa Manila. This is a typical walled hacienda where the Spanish aristocracy lived in peace and security. Well, until they were forced out anyway. But the evening's plans are thrown into confusion by the weather.
Oh, we were supposed to be dancing right here. But we arrive here and it's obviously, as you can tell, it's raining. So I've been told we're going to be dancing upstairs in the historic ballroom. But the only difference is that instead of dancing in front, with the crowd in front of us, they're going to be all around us. We're going to be in the middle of them all. I was hoping to maybe hide in the back and make some mistakes. There's no room for that. They'll catch it all now.
As a stream of dignitaries arrive and take their places in the ballroom, it's time for us to start getting dressed.
Our national artist will be here or there.
The Lord Mayor of Manila is here with his wife, both former Bayanihan dancers. Backstage, it's a hive of activity as the dance troupe gets into their costumes and put on makeup. I keep feeling that everyone else is a few steps ahead of me. I just hope that doesn't happen once we're on stage.
The type of shoes I'm wearing are the same shoes that the Beatles wore. I'm ready for Spanish winter. Just before a show, I always get really creative.
It's all full of important people out there, politicians. There's a lot of important people that know my family, and I don't want to be like the running joke of family reunions and political gatherings. So yeah, you can say I'm a bit nervous.
A few chords on the guitar to help my nerves, while Clara does the sensible thing and has one final practice. Since we're following tradition, we hold a prayer for good measure.
What time is it?
It's showtime! Woo! Philippine culture!
First, the Bayanihan dancers take the stage with graceful perfection in a fan dance. Like the jota, it has strong Spanish influence, but was a perfect match for Filipino grace and charm. I can barely control my enthusiasm as Andy and the boys perform the famous Maglalatik, a dance that mimics a fight between Christians and Muslims over coconut milk. It's the final dance before my own, and it's 2 minutes to showtime.
It's happening again, that sinking feeling. I hate this feeling.
I start wishing the sound of those coconuts will go on forever, but suddenly, the terrifying sound of applause.
I just don't want to think about anything. Yes, one last word. Breathe.
Then the fateful moment arrives.
The final number will be performed by the host Jamie Aditya Graham and his guide in the Philippines, Clara Balaguer.
Here we go.
Oh boy, here we go. You just have to imagine how scared I'm feeling, because I don't have the words to describe it. Here we go. I can't help thinking if it might have been better if the Spanish had left their jota at home. The Ifugao dance looked much easier, but there's no turning back now. Incredibly, we've danced the introduction to perfection. Well, almost. But then, disaster strikes. Who would have thought that Clara would mess up? She seems so much better than me during our training. And I don't mean to sound cruel, but I'm sort of glad it wasn't me that stumbled.
No, Clara, she's fallen again.
Clara's fallen, so the pressure's off. I nail the rest of the dance, except for one brief moment when everybody else goes the wrong way.
I guess our 4 minutes are almost over. She fell down twice, and I messed up majorly a couple times too. I went the wrong way, but it's all right.
I meant to do that. I did it on purpose.
Oh, thank you. Hello, thank you so much. Salamat po. Thank you so much.
Like a pro.
Oh, no, not really. Nice to meet you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. The dance? It was magnificent. Melvin, where would I be without you?
Thanks a lot, man.
Well, thank you.
Mwah.
Andy, I'm afraid I must.
Jamie.
I'm afraid I must. Some things are in order. Put down your guard.
It's the nose.
It's the nose. Come here. Give me a hug, sis. Oh, thanks a lot.
It was fun. I had a lot of fun. Thank you.
Salamat po. Paalam, the world.
Clara and I joined the Bayanihan dancers in a song of farewell. It's been quite an experience seeing the natural musical talent of the Filipinos surface in so many forms, always done with skill and a gracious dignity that is uniquely Filipino.